Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for making the trek out here and spending 30 minutes of your time with me, 30 with Lori and 30 with the folks from over at, what is it, MediaMax, right? So we look forward to networking with you afterwards. My whole goal here today is to just come up with one little nugget for each one of you that you can take out of here and say, you know what, I actually learned something I can put to use today. And hopefully that makes it worth the while for you sitting in that chair listening through what I have to say. A little bit about myself. I'm married, live down in Rosemount. I've got wonderful grandkids, and we just got back from a trip out in South Dakota, which if you've never done it, what a great vacation. My gosh, we rented a Suburban and got everybody into the car, stopped in Sioux Falls, went through the Badlands, went out and saw the Black Hills. It was just amazing, and the whole thing cost us, hotel, rent the car, the whole thing, less than $2 grand. So we were gone for, what, 8 days? So amazing. Recommend it highly. That's us at Devil's Tower. That's my wife and I, by the way. So great time out there. And that really is my focus, is finding time to do those types of things. But in order to do that, I've had to work very hard and work with a lot of businesses in the meantime, helping them be successful. I started in business really back in 1982 when I started working with Paychex, a national payroll service organization. And I was there for about 7.5 years. During that period of time, I helped over 1,000 businesses get payrolls up and running. And back in those days, I'm going to really date myself now, there weren't fax machines. The computers were all key punch. Everything came in over the phone, okay? And we had to write it down and then total them up with the 10-key calculator. And then you'd hand it off to the key punch operators. That key punch card would go back into the computer room, and 4 or 5 hours later, magically checks would start to appear. And the night staff would pack that all up, get it ready for delivery, and out it would go. So that was kind of my first start in the business world, was getting out there and talking to businesses. I was 22 years old, going out selling payroll services to business. Since that time, I worked with a local payroll service company after that. I spent some time with my own service bureau called Payday of Minnesota in the 90s that I started up and ended up selling out to my partners in late 97. Took about 10 years away from the payroll industry, where I worked in mostly real estate, helping people buy homes. And that was very interesting, especially working with the builders that I ended up joining up with. Once we all know what happened with the real estate market in 2007, when that happened, actually late 2006, towards 2007, I got back into payroll and worked with a company called Payroll Control Systems. Payroll Control Systems was actually owned by Joe Riley, who I had met when I owned Payday in Minnesota. And was fortunate enough to keep tabs with him, was put into the role of Vice President of Sales with that company, and helped about another 1,500 companies get up and running on payroll. CBIZ acquired Payroll Control Systems as of 12/31 this last year. And I took over as the marketing director for payroll here in the Twin Cities, had 9 reps that were working with me, and helped to bring all that together. And it really got to be where it was starting to be not a lot of fun to be doing the work. I was putting in probably 80 to 100 hours a week and just not really enjoying things anymore. So a position opened up where I could get back into the field and start working with people one-on-one again, and I took it. And ever since then, back in July, that's what I've been doing. So that's just a little bit about me. CBIZ is actually a company that's focused on helping people grow. CBIZ is a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. And we got 2 different segments, employee services and financial services. Financial services is almost entirely made up by Mayer Hoffman McCann, which is the 7th largest CPA firm in the country. We like to say we're kind of that biggest company that no one's even heard about here in the Twin Cities. We're actually in the Campbell Methuen Tower downtown, taking up 2 floors of that building. We've got about 300 employees right here locally, but no one's heard of CBIZ. So they recently acquired, as I said, Payroll Control Systems back on 12/31, and also acquired a property casualty insurance company here locally, Associated Insurance Agents. We offer those services under the employee services side along with benefits. So we're uniquely positioned to be able to really offer most of the products and services that companies need when they're starting up and going through the various plateaus and everything that you go through as you're growing your business. If we don't offer the services, we have partnerships with companies that do offer those services, like banking and legal counsel and so forth. Okay, so that's a little bit about CBIZ. So what we'll cover today, I just want to cover a little bit about getting a business started. It seems like we got a lot of people in this room. I mean, a pretty wide, diverse audience. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the startup aspects, but you'll see some of the things that go into putting a business plan together, the advisors that you're putting into place, creating differentiation, and the marketing and sales side that will apply across all levels of business. And hopefully you'll pick up a few nuggets there. And then we'll talk about taking next steps. So what happens once you've had that success and now you're managing the growth, managing the risk, and potentially changing advisors to keep up the pace. I love this page, and no, I'm not going to go through each and every one of those. But basically, when you start up a business or when you're running a business, these are just some of the things that you've got to be watching. He said, Lori brought up, keep the eye on the ball, right? These are all the things you've got to keep your eye on. And if you don't have the people in place to help you do that, you got a lot of problems and issues. And most of this is busy work, right? This is what you got into business to do, is to actually deliver the product and bill and collect money, right? Create value out there. So what happens with most businesses that I've seen is this is what the business owner ends up looking like. They're twirling a lot of plates. I love the fact that you get to decide which 8 hours a day you don't need to work. And you get to do it all, including cleaning the bathroom, which when I started that payroll company, yeah, I was the one that cleaned the bathroom, for sure. The buck stops with you, literally. You're the last one to get paid, right? Everybody else gets paid first, and then it's you. But it's not all bad. You reap the rewards, like bringing value to the marketplace, employing people, making a difference, and hopefully a profit. One thing we kind of stumbled upon when we were over in the management team at Payroll Control Systems, we all sat down and started trying to figure out, what is it that we're really trying to do here? Well, the bottom line was we wanted profit, okay? And in order to get there, we said, well, what are the key areas that we need to focus on in order to do that? And we started really brainstorming on this, and I don't think this was from any book. I mean, maybe it imprinted on my mind way back. But as we were sitting there, I actually jumped up, went to the whiteboard, and drew this out. And I said, I think what we're talking about is this. We're responsible as business owners for creating a culture, okay, that will allow our employees to be efficient, create growth, and retain the customers that we have. Those are the impact areas, the direct impact areas we have as management or owners of companies. So if we can stay focused in this area and create a culture, profit happens. Right? Agreed?
Yep.
Disagreed? So in order to do that, you need to start building that plan. So if we focus that, use that as a catalyst or a core for the plan, we can start to build it. When I started Payday of Minnesota, I went down and bought Business Plan Pro. This is in 1994. And started putting all my information in there. And actually, I still had that software package sitting at home. So I went and grabbed it, and I said, well, what was everything that it asked me to do? Most of these packages that you can buy are templated. If you've got a business already up and running and you haven't taken the time to really run through your plan, go get one. Start running through the plan. Answer the questions that are in there. It's going to help you start to crystallize exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish, right? It helps you describe your business, what you're selling, what makes you different, why people should buy from you. Helps you define your marketplace. Have you ever sat back and done that? Sell your experience in your management advisory team. So if it's just you and your experience, or if you've got other individuals on there, getting those bios together to really start making a difference. You can take this down to the bank. You know, that's what they'll loan on that type of data and information. Start forecasting your sales, your expenses. Define when you're going to start making money. When you're going to break even. Are the assumptions realistic? And support those numbers. All of those components were in Business Plan Pro. Back in 1994, it was 90 bucks. Now, for me, back in 94, after everything I'd been through prior to that, it was hard for me to come up with the 90 bucks. Okay? But it was worth it. Spend a buck. Get yourself organized. You know, start bringing everything together. The other big thing is you need to find the right advisors and vendors that are going to help you make your business a success. I believe that, you know, the biggest keys are the attorney, the CPA, the banker, and your insurance agent. 4 big keys. If you've got quality advisors there, your chances for success are much higher. Now, I added some other ones beneath that: financial advisor, payroll service, human resources, commercial realtor. There's others, business advisors, things like that, depending on the need. Yes, sir?
Are you going to address the concept of need? N-E-E-D? Who needs it? If there ain't no need, there's no market.
Yes, we'll get to that. Yep, good point. And that comes into the marketing side of the business. Yep. So these are, I think, key components that you need to put into play when you are starting up a business, or even if you have a business and you're not confident in any one of these areas. And where you get the information is from referrals. Find some people you trust. Find those people like a Lori that's been in business for 30 years. Who have you used? Who are your advisors? Who would you recommend? You know, I've had experience with more than 3,000 businesses. Who do I know? Look at your business. I can make some references and for referrals to quality people that can help you out. Big thing is, if you make the wrong choices, and we've all done that, we've had the fast-talking salesperson or whatever it might be that has convinced us to pick something up, it'll lead to that situation where you're making a lot of decisions on your own. And they're complex. And if you make those wrong decisions, they can totally eat you alive and create a lot of havoc within your company. So the key thing is find those right advisors, get those key players into place, get the right advice, and follow it. Once again, spend a buck. Don't be afraid to spend the dollars there. So let's get a little bit to the differentiation side of things. Next key that I run into out there. Most of the businesses that I found that were successful had differentiators that they put into play. Okay? And when you really start looking at it, there's really 3 key areas, I think, that each business can differentiate in. Innovation, being first to market, being innovative, right? Price, we're the cheapest in town, most efficient, whatever it might be. Or quality, high service levels, quality product. So the key is, in most cases, you can be good at all of these, but you're probably only going to be great at one. I've seen sometimes where companies were great at 2. It's very rare for them to be great at all 3, because it's hard to be innovative and have high quality and deliver the lowest price. Okay? So take any of those 2 and look at that third one, it starts to get difficult to do, right? So this is part of figuring out your differentiation. If you can figure out how you're different, it's going to help you get to the market. And now you're getting to the marketing and sales side, right? So you spoke about need. I'll just dovetail that in. Obviously, if no one needs your product and doesn't care if it's different, then you probably don't have something to go market. I have to make the assumption that there's a need. Okay? So on marketing and sales, successful businesses clearly know the difference between marketing and sales, and they budget for both. They're different. Marketing, if we look at it, determines who will buy your product. You're going to figure out who buys it. Businesses, customers, whatever it might be. What is the competition selling? Okay? What are they buying now compared to what you have? So how are you, once again, different? How are they buying it? Very important. Are they buying it on the internet? Are they doing it face-to-face? They go into retail stores, right? You've got to define that market space. And then why are they buying it? And I think that's the biggest key. I'm not going to go through all of this, but in TED Talks, have you guys ever gone out to TED.com and looked at those? I mean, what a great resource that is. Jot this one down. Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K, and How Great Leaders Inspire Action. He's got an unbelievable presentation that he puts on that I guarantee you will give you a whole new way of looking at how you're marketing your product. And it all comes down to the why. The way he explains it is, when it's all said and done, he talks about Apple. So if Apple were to go to market and say, hey, we got great computers, they're beautifully designed, simple to use, want to buy one? Probably not, right? That's how most of their competition markets. Dell, the rest of them, they're all talking about how they just came up with this new tablet, and look, it plugs in, you've got a place to plug in for your thumb drive and all of those types of things. People still aren't buying them, okay? What they have actually done at Apple is they looked at the why they existed as a company. And why they exist as a company is they say that everything they do challenges the status quo. The way we challenge the status quo is by making products that are beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to build computers. Want to buy one? Okay? So they get people on the why and build that brand, build that loyalty into it. And I'd add one more, and that is the when people are buying. In my marketplace, which has been payroll for years, the biggest time of year for people to buy is towards the end of the year to get ready for January 1st. Clean transition, easy to do, and so forth. So figuring that out, we spent most of our marketing dollars leading up to the end of the year. To throw a bunch of money at marketing during June, July, and August when everybody's up fishing and playing around at the cabins didn't make a lot of sense, right? So pay attention to the when as well if your industry can be cyclical. Okay, sales, you know, what makes you different and the results of your marketing study to formulate your sales strategy. So use that, use what you figured out and formulate that strategy. I always look at, you know, who are the decision makers that you're going to be trying to approach? What is their decision-making process? And how do they communicate? If you can get those things figured out, you can start to tailor a sales process that will make sense and get you results. Formulate the approaches. Are you going to approach them via the web, email, social media, phone, snail mail, referrals? Okay, define that. Formulate the responses to each approach. So if they're responding to that, how are you going to respond to them? If somebody emails you, are you going to call them? Or are you going to email them back? Somebody calls you, you know, I mean, you're probably going to call them back or talk to them that way, right? So email, typically you're going to email response, get permission to call, and talk from there, just as an example. Build your value, help them see the why, be responsive, and build that relationship. That's where those customers from life come. So that's just a little bit on that sales and marketing side. So next steps comes into managing the growth of the company, building solid financials, refining your processes. Think about manufacturing. I always go back to every single situation I've ever been in. We always look for that one place where it's kinking up. So what's stopping the production? What's slowing things down? Where are we kinked up? Okay? And work on that and just keep building your flow. Once you fix that, the next thing down the line is probably you'll find something else that's broken, and keep working on that next step. Managing your risk. A lot of people forget about the risk that's out there. That's where it comes in, having those great advisors and the insurance agents and so forth to be telling you exactly what's going on with the risks that you are carrying out there as a business. And then don't be afraid to change advisors. I think that's really important. You know, most of the people that I meet start up, they knew a buddy. They had a friend that was a CPA or was an attorney, you know, and they've just stuck with that person all along. And 9 times out of 10, the expertise just is not there to be handling the success that that company has. Okay? So evaluate those advisors on a regular basis. Go back out to market. Talk with, you know, maybe that next echelon up and get a feel. You know, is this something that we should be taking a look at, and should we make a change? Don't be afraid to do it. Final thoughts. You reap what you sow. It's biblical, right? I think it's so important. Lori talked about failing. And failing often. And that's so true. Some of that seed that you're sowing, it's going to fall on the rock. Other of that seed, it's going to get eaten up by the weeds. Sometimes that soil might not be deep enough for the plant to actually take root. But when it does, and you keep sowing, you'll get to reap that 100-fold benefit that's out there. So don't give up. That's one of the big things that on sales that you've got to know. Take the time on a regular basis to think, review, and plan. Businesses that are successful take that time every single day. Take 5 minutes. Look back at the day. What did you learn from the day? Every single week, take 30 minutes. Sit down. Review what's gone on for that week. Every month, do 4 hours. Every quarter, 8. End of the year, take several days. Go somewhere. This is all from Jim Rohn. Anybody listen to Jim Rohn? If you haven't heard Jim Rohn speak, get out there, just search Jim Rohn and pick up some of his stuff. It's excellent. He says, go to the closet. Get away from all the noise and review and think. Read, research, observe, understand the forces impacting your market. Lori talked about it. Pay attention to what's going on. People get so caught up in the minutia, next thing they know, they're 5 miles behind the rest. Okay? Wake up one day and it's done. Spend your time wisely. Pot number 1, pot number 2, pot number 3. Everybody's heard those, right? Pot number 1's things you directly influence. Pot number 2, you indirectly influence. Pot number 3, you have no influence. Don't spend your time there. Focus on number 1, a little bit of time on number 2, and you'll be okay. So make the right choices. We at CBIZ are here to help. There's a lot of different content in that slide presentation. If you want it, you can email me. I'll be outside afterwards. Thank you very much for your time.